Hello, boys and girls. My name is Mrs. Inskeep. I used to teach school. Now my daughter-in-law, Mrs. Inskeep, teaches kindergarten at the Elmwood School. So when I left teaching, I came to the library to be a librarian. So I love reading, I love books, so I agreed to come to the library and read a story to you. Stories that he's written about. So if you like the story, there's other ones that you could come and enjoy. So this is an old story, and it's got a lot of pretty pictures. In a town in Calabria, a long time ago, there lived an old lady everyone called Strega Nona, which meant Grandma Witch. Although all the people in the town talked about her in whispers, they all went to see her if they had troubles. Even the priest and the sisters of the convent went, because Strega Nona did have a magic touch. So here she is on the bottom of the page, and all the townspeople are coming to see her because they have troubles. They think she can help them. She could cure a headache with oil and water and a hairpin. She made special potions for the girls who wanted husbands, and she was very good at getting rid of warts. Warts are little bumps that you get on your hands especially. So here she is, using her magical powers to cure the people. But Strega Nona was getting old, and she needed someone to help keep her little house and garden. So she put up a sign in the town square. So here she is, putting up a sign asking for help because she's getting so much older and she can't do everything like she used to. And Big Anthony, who didn't pay any attention, went to see her. "Anthony," said Strega Nona, "you must sweep the house and wash the dishes. You must weed the garden and pick the vegetables. You must feed the goat and milk her. And you must fetch the water. For this, I will give you 3 coins and a place to sleep and food to eat." "Oh, thank you," said Big Anthony. "The one thing you must never do," said Strega Nona, "is touch the pasta pot. It is very valuable, and I don't let anyone touch it." "Oh, yes, yes," said Big Anthony. And here's a picture of Big Anthony. See how much taller he is than Strega Nona? And so the days went by. Big Anthony did his work, and Strega Nona met with people who came to see her for headaches and husbands and warts. Big Anthony had a nice bed to sleep in next to the goat shed, and he had food to eat. One evening, when Big Anthony was milking the goat, he heard Strega Nona singing. Peeking in the window, he saw Strega Nona standing over the pasta pot. So here's pictures of Big Anthony doing his work. And then he heard her singing, so he's going to try to figure out what's going on. "Bubble, bubble, pasta pot," she sang. "Boil me some pasta, nice and hot. I'm hungry, and it's time to sup. Boil enough pasta to fill me up." Sup means eat supper. And the pasta pot bubbled and boiled and was suddenly filled with steaming, hot pasta. Then Strega Nona sang, "Enough, enough, pasta pot. I have my pasta, nice and hot. So simmer down, my pot of clay, until I'm hungry another day." "How wonderful," said Big Anthony. "That's a magic pot for sure." Well, these pictures are of Strega Nona talking to her pasta pot, and Big Anthony is watching, and he thinks that's pretty neat deal to have a pasta pot that cooks itself. And Strega Nona called Big Anthony in for supper. But too bad for Big Anthony, because he didn't see Strega Nona blow 3 kisses to the magic pasta pot. So he saw the first part of her talking to the pasta pot, but the last part he didn't see. So he thinks he knows the secret, but the 3 kisses, he did not see her do that. And this is what happened next. The next day, when Big Anthony went to the town square to fetch the water, he told everybody about the pasta pot. And naturally, everybody laughed at him because it sounded so silly. A pot that cooked all by itself? You better go and confess to the priest, Big Anthony, they said. That's a lie. And Big Anthony was angry, and that wasn't a very good thing to be. I'll show them, he says. Someday we'll get that pasta pot and make it cook, and then they'll be sorry. So here he is telling all the townspeople about the pasta pot, and they don't believe him. They think he's lying. That day came sooner than even Big Anthony would have thought, because 2 days later, Strega Nona said to Big Anthony, Anthony, I must go over the mountain to the next town to see my friend Strega Amelia. Sweep the house, weed the garden, feed the goat, milk her, and for your lunch, there's some bread and cheese in the cupboard. And remember, don't touch the pasta pot. Oh, yes, yes, Strega Nona, said Big Anthony. But inside he was thinking, my chance has come. So here she is in this picture giving him instructions about what to do when she's gone. Let's see what he does. And as soon as Strega Nona was out of sight, Big Anthony went inside, pulled the pasta pot off the shelf, and put it on the floor. Now, let's see if I can remember the words, said Big Anthony. And Big Anthony sang, bubble, bubble, pasta pot, boil me some pasta, nice and hot. I'm hungry, and it's time to sup. Boil enough pasta to fill me up. And sure enough, the pot bubbled and boiled and began to fill up with pasta. Look how happy he is. He's got the magic words to get that pasta pot boiling. Aha, said Big Anthony. He ran to the town square, jumped on the fountain, and shouted, everyone, get forks and plates and platters and bowls. Pasta for all at Strega Nona's house. Big Anthony has made the pasta pot work. And of course, everybody laughed, but they ran home to get forks and plates and platters and bowls. And sure enough, when they got to Strega Nona's house, the pasta pot was so full it was beginning to overflow. Here he is telling all of them to come. Come get free pasta. Big Anthony was a hero. He scooped out pasta and filled the plates and platters and bowls. Everybody's there. They got their plates, and he's filling it up, and everybody loves him because he's giving them this pasta. And there was more than enough for all the townspeople, including the priests and the sisters from the convent. And some people came back for 2 and 3 helpings, and the pot was never empty. That can't be. It really must be magic. He's got enough pasta for everybody over and over again. When they all had their fill, Big Anthony sang, enough, enough, my pasta pot. I've made my pasta nice and hot. So simmer down, my pot of clay, until I'm hungry another day. But at last, he did not blow the 3 kisses because he didn't know about that. See, here he is telling the pasta pot to stop cooking. But he's not going to do it. So he went outside, and to the applause of the crowd, Big Anthony took a bow. He was so busy listening to the compliments from everyone that he didn't notice the pasta pot was still bubbling and boiling until a sister from the convent said, oh, Big Anthony, look! And the pasta was pouring out of the pot all over the floor of Strega Nona's house and was coming out the door. So there's the sister nun who's saying to Strega Nona, or to saying to Big Anthony, the pasta's coming out the house. What are we going to do? It's rolling out the door. Even the peacock is flying away. Big Anthony rushed in and shouted the magic words again, but the pot kept bubbling. He took the pot off the floor, but the pasta kept pouring from it. He's shouting, he's taking it off, the pot off the heat, and is still making pasta. Big Anthony grabbed a cover and put it on the pot and sat on it, but the pasta raised the cover, and Big Anthony as well, and spilled on the floor of Strega Nona's house. So he's trying to stop it, but nothing is working. It still keeps making pasta all the time. Stop, yelled Big Anthony, but the pasta pot did not stop, and if someone hadn't grabbed poor Big Anthony, the pasta would have covered him up. The pasta had all but filled the little house. Out of the windows and through the doors came pasta, and the pot The pot kept right on bubbling. That would be such a hot pasta flowing out of the door everywhere. He can't get it to stop. My goodness, he's got a big problem. And the people in the town began to worry. Do something, Big Anthony, they shouted. Big Anthony sang the magic song again, but without the 3 kisses, it did no good. By this time, the pasta was on its way down the road, and all the people were running to keep ahead of it. Okay. There they are leaving because the pasta's trying to catch them. They don't want to get caught by hot pasta. We must protect our town from pasta, shouted the mayor. Get mattresses, tables, doors, anything to make a barricade. So they're trying to stop it with all kinds of stuff like doors and mattresses and chairs and everything. But that didn't work. The pot kept bubbling and the pasta kept coming. Look at it. There's just like a big river full of pasta flowing right onto the town. We're lost, said the people, and the priests and the sisters of the convent began praying. The pasta will cover the town, they cried. Oh my goodness, look at that. There's the pasta. It's covered up chairs and tables and probably people too. And certainly it would have had Strega Nona not come down the road home from her visit. She didn't have to look twice to know what happened. So here she comes with her walking stick, and she knows right away what's going on in her town. Her pasta pot is not stopping. She sang the magic song, blew the 3 kisses, and with a sputter the pot stopped boiling and the pasta came to a halt. She did it. She said the little song, she blew the 3 kisses, and the pasta stopped. But then they turned on poor Big Anthony. String him up, the men of the town shouted. They are really mad that he made such a mess for their town. Now, wait, said Strega Nona. The punishment must fit the crime. And she took a fork from a lady standing nearby and held it out to Big Anthony. So here she is. She's got the fork in her hand. She's going to tell Big Anthony he's got to do something to make it right for the bad thing that he did. So she tells him, all right, Anthony, you wanted pasta from my magic pasta pot? Strega Nona said, and I want to sleep in my little bed tonight, so start eating. She's going to make him eat all that pasta. My goodness, he's going to be sick, and that pasta's probably dirty. It's been rolling all over the road and everything. And he did. Poor Big Anthony. Look at, he's got a stomach ache. And then there's a picture of Strega Nona looking at him. So she had a good idea. I think he learned his lesson. So here's a picture of their town. This is back in Italy in the olden days, so probably doesn't look too much like that. I hope you enjoy this book called Strega Nona, and it's by Tomie dePaola, and he's got more of these Strega Nona books if you like this story. So please keep reading. Reading is so very, very important, and I'm glad I got to read this story to you. Have a good day.